Welcome to this lesson about OpenAI models. So what is an AI model? An AI model, which is short for artificial intelligence model, is a sophisticated software program that utilizes advanced machine learning and deep learning algorithms. Now, this model, it is trained on vast data set to learn patterns, correlations, and representations from the data. Once trained, the AI model can perform specific tasks, make predictions, generate responses, or recognize patterns in new unseen data. So simply, an AI model is a program that has been shown a lot of data and figured out the relationships and the representations, the correlations between this data. Once this model have seen enough data, we say that this program or this model is now trained. Now we show the model other data which it didn't see before, and we ask him, taking the knowledge from the training, to try to predict or generate response or recognize pattern in this new unseen data. So that's in general what is an AI model. Let's now go to the platform OpenAI.com website. I want to show you in the documentation. If you go to models, here we have the main models that are now available from OpenAI. Now, we used until a couple of weeks ago to work with GPT-3. Now it doesn't exist anymore. This just opens the overview page. So GPT-3 is not used anymore. We have GPT-3.5, GPT-4, DALL-E for image, Whisper for audio recognition, embeddings we will cover later, and moderation. Now, moderation is that when you talk to one of these models, a moderation will happen on your request to make sure that they are safe requests. If your request is not safe, you will not be connected to the model. Now, moderation models are made available for people in case they need to check if their prompt is safe. Other than that, you don't need to care about moderation. Whenever you are calling GPT, DALL-E, or Whisper, the moderation step will happen and you don't need to know about it. Okay, let's now go and talk about these models briefly. If we go to GPT 3.5, this is a very strong model. It is called by ChatGPT itself. In fact, this is the only model available for the free version, while the paid version you can choose between 3.5 and 4. So if we look at this GPT-3.5 Turbo, this is the most capable GPT 3.5 model. This maximum token is 4096. As I said, that includes the input and the returned output. And the cutoff date for most of the GPT family is September 21. Now, Turbo-16K, it is the same capabilities as the 3.5 Turbo. The only difference is that its token limit is very much higher. It is around 16,000. Then we have this version, which is a snapshot of the Turbo as by the 13th of June. This will not get any update. There is another snapshot version of the 16K. This is again a snapshot that has been taken in the 13th of June. Of course, when you look at this website at later point of the future, you will find different names, you will find different snapshots and so on. But for now, the GPT 3.5 has these versions. In general, we will care almost always about GPT 3.5 Turbo, because that's what's available for us with the free credit. We will not use the 16K, it's a little bit expensive, and we will not work against the snapshot. So we will be working with this. Let's look at the GPT-4. GPT-4 is a very capable model. The latest model is GPT-4. The maximum tokens is around 8,000. We have a snapshot in the 30th of June, and we have another version where it supports 32K for tokens at the input and the output. Of course, GPT-4 is almost the cheapest of these models, and I don't think we will be using it in this course. In this course, we will be using GPT-3.5 Turbo, because that's what is available with the free credit. If you want to use GPT-4, you have to be paying for OpenAI. The next model we will use is DALL-E, which is for images. It allows us to create an image from a text, to create a variation of an image that we provide, and to edit an image using the image and text that describe the image. Then we go to Whisper. This is the speech-to-text model. The model is free, but it is bundled with the OpenAI APIs with enhancements. Then we have the embedding models, which we will cover later. These models allow us to create a contextful representation of tokens and sentences. Then we have the moderation models, which are used to make sure that the prompt you send to the models is safe. So this is in general the main models that are available. 3.5, a capable model that we will be using. GPT-4, much more capable model and much higher maximum token settings. DALL-E, which is for image creation, variation and editing. Whisper, which is for speech to text. We will be using it to transcribe audio files and translate them. Embeddings will be used to create a contextful representation of tokens and sentences. Moderation, we will not be accessing it directly. Instead, every request that we send to any of these models will be moderated to make sure that it is safe. For a moment now, let's look at the pricing for these models. So if I open this and go to openai.com/pricing, I will get this page. Now in this page, you can see that GPT, here are the prices. Usually the prices are given by 1K tokens. What's the price for 1K token? So for the 8K context, it is 0.03 per 100K for the input and 0.06 for 100K of the output. The 32K is more expensive. We will be using GPT-3.5 Turbo, the 4K version. So the price will be for the input is 0.0015 per 100K, and for the output it is 0.002 for 100K. We will not use the 17K model. Of course, as you can see, prices are very cheap and very affordable. Fine-tuning, we'll talk about it later. Embeddings is very important and it is very cheap. It is 0.0001 per 1K tokens. Okay, so the last part of this lesson is I want to go back to OpenAI platform and I will open the playground. Now in the playground, I can play with models and change parameters. Here we have the mode, which is chat or completion or edit. These two are legacy and we will not visit, so we will only care about chat. Now for the model, we will use GPT 3.5 Turbo. There are a couple of other models like the snapshot and so on. But what we will be caring about is that this default version. Temperature, we will talk about it later, and the maximum length. So how do I make a request to the model? First, here you have the system role at the left. In the system role, you give the model information on how it should act. For example, you can see, you say you are an experienced programmer. So here you are telling the model what it should be acting as. This is what we call the system role, and it is optional, but it is very recommended to always include it. There is also the user role and the assistant role. We will not look at the assistant role now, but for the user role, you will ask the question like, what is OOP? Now this is the user part of the message. So usually you have at least system and user parts. System is optional, but very much recommended to always have it. And then you have the user. If you click on submit, that have called the model, and the assistant or the model has replied with these information. Now, if you go to add a message, you add a message as a user. You do that in conversational manner. So you don't need to repeat what you are talking about because it has the history. It is a conversation. So for example, you can say, can you summarize it in 2 lines? And this will summarize the previous chat. Now, I don't need to tell it that I'm talking about OOP because it knows from the history that I am talking about OOP. So I'm telling here, can you summarize it in 2 lines? Now I will click on submit. As you can see, now it summarized OOP in just 2 lines. So as you can see, it is very powerful model, GPT 3.5 Turbo. What we saw here in the playground, that we have the system role in the chat, which is recommended to use, and then you send the information using the user role. Of course, the information that are returned back are using the assistant role. Okay, so thank you.